Hi everyone, it's me, Councilwoman Tameika Isaac Devine from the city of Columbia, South Carolina. And I know that staying home all the time is really boring sometimes. But it also can be a lot of fun because you can spend time with the ones that you love and you can open up your mind to books and other things and adventures in your home. The City of Columbia has a program that we call Together We Can Read, in which we share our favorite books with third graders throughout Richland School District 1. Unfortunately, this year, because of the COVID-19 pandemic and schools being closed, we were unable to do our normal reading day at the third grade classes throughout Richland School District 1. But since we've been home for a few weeks, I wanted to share with you some of the great books that we have shared with the students throughout the years through Together We Can Read, our partnership with Richland One. The very first year, our book for Together We Can Read was called Charley's Columbia Backyard. This is an exciting book about the sights and sounds and feels of the city of Columbia, the capital of Columbia, South Carolina. And it was written by a local, Caroline Coleman Bennett, and illustrated by Paula Hayne Bowers. I want to share this book with you today and hopefully give you some time to think about the great things in the city of Columbia and also give you something to look forward to when our pandemic is over and we're being able to go back out and enjoy the fabulous things that we've got here in the city of Columbia. So join me for Charley's Columbia Backyard. From his hammock swing out back in his Columbia backyard, little Charley heard the tears and sobs of his new next-door neighbor, Bernard. Whatever could be troubling him on a summer's day in June? The sun is out, the weather's nice, and the jessamine are in bloom. But the boy's crying continued, and when Charley could stand no more, he grabbed 2 cherry popsicles and marched his way next door. Handing over an ice-cold treat, Charley asked with great concern, "What's the matter? Your bike tire's flat? Did you get a bad sunburn?" No, cried Bernard, with teardrops staining his face. "Columbia's just ordinary. There's nothing to do in this place." "Nothing to do in Columbia?" little Charley asked with a surprise. Could he have heard correctly? Has Bernard even opened his eyes? "Come with me," demanded Charley, as he grabbed the boy's hand. "Take off your shoes, come outside, sink your feet in the grass and the sand." The boys walked through camellias and pines to a tall magnolia tree. "Let's climb up to my fort," said Charley, but a fort Bernard couldn't see. For all the way up, he saw only knotty branches and massy blooms. Then finally Charley straddled a branch and said, "Welcome to my favorite room." Not in every city, you know, can you spend all day outdoors, for in my very own backyard room lies treasures waiting to be explored. Like, have you ever caught a lizard, or seen a robin build a nest, or felt the bumpy cold skin of a toad, or stuck a cicada shell on your chest? "Gross!" yelled Bernard with a grin, as he let the squirmy lizard go. "And get that bug off my chest," he screamed. Then the laughter began to flow. Charley said, "Have you ever felt the fuzz of a speckled wiggly caterpillar, or witnessed the tapping of a hungry little woodpecker?" "No, I guess I haven't," said Bernard, his eyes now dry and wide. "I guess I haven't been able to spend that much time outside." "And listen to the sounds from here," said Charley, with a smile so warm. But Bernard didn't hear any noise, no loud cars, sirens, or honking horns. "Just listen," Charley said. Then the faintest sounds rang clear. the clicking of a sprinkler, pine straw cracking under a white-tailed deer. The faraway whistle of a train rolling down steel tracks, the rush of a wind through cattails sent chills down the boys' backs. The sparrows, blue jays, and wrens, the medley of tunes they chirped, sounded like an orchestra practicing for a night's concert. With the whipping of an umbrella, shading lunch on a table below, Mom set out a feast for the boys while they lost themselves in the show. "Lunchtime," called Charley's mom, and that's all she needed to say, for the smell of farmers market peaches were drifting up their way. "Beyond this fence," Charley said, "is a fairy tale place you'll see. Giants and castles, cannons and wild things, a great big playground for you and me." Bernard gave him a puzzled look. "Believing all of this is hard." Charley said, "Come with me, you'll see. It's all in our own backyard." The scenery changed like the seasons, Charley said. "Open your eyes, your ears, your heart. To feel the South deep in your soul, just let yourself become a part." The boys became doctors at adventure and worked on a patient 40 feet high. Let's climb up Eddie's head, slide down his belly, and see all that's inside. "Those can't be arteries I see," said Bernard with a look of doubt. "Oh, yes," said Charley. "Our city's children's museum leaves not a single thing out." Nearby is the Marionette Theater, the only one in the nation of its kind. In this castle we'll visit knights and ogres, and each fairy tale unwinds. "Are those real ogres?" Bernard asked in fright. "No, just puppets dangling from strings. After each show," said Charley, "you can see how they made behind the scenes." But if you want more than a tale, a story that will make you shiver and gasp, let's walk around the State House grounds to learn about true heroes from our past. "The scenery changed like the seasons," Charley asked. "Open your eyes, your ears, your heart. To feel the South deep in your soul, just let yourself become a part." The boys became soldiers at the foot of a general. They climbed a cannon from Battleship Maine, touched those bronze faces of African Americans that tell a true story of achievement and pain. Charley said, "Help me hunt for 6 stars that mark where Sherman's cannon shot." "You mean a war went on in this place?" Bernard asked. Surely not." "Did you know our city has a fort?" asked Charley. "Did you mean a make-believe one in your tree?" "No," said Charley. "One with live trained soldiers. It's called Fort Jackson, you'll see." A blaring bugle called startling the boys. Then Bernard knew this wasn't pretend. "Salute these soldiers as they march," said Charley. "Our whole country they work to defend." "Now, on to Riverbank Zoo," he said. "It's one of the nation's 10 best. You can see wild things from around the world if excitement is your quest." The scenery changed like the seasons, Charley said. "Open your eyes, your ears, your heart. To feel the South deep in your soul, just let yourself become a part." The boys became beasts in the jungle among tigers, zebras, and toucans. Tropical birds landed right on their heads, and a giraffe ate straight from the boys' hands. As the boys rolled on and on, Bernard began to grow restless. "I need to tell my mom all about this. I need to make a Charlie's checklist." He wrote, "Go barefoot, hold a lizard, touch a toad, climb a tree, hunt for heroes, feed a giraffe, salute a soldier, and slide down Eddie." "What else, Charley?" asked Bernard. "Remind me fast before I forget." Charley said, "Just keep that checklist handy. Our adventures aren't over yet." "Hold tight, we're going back in time to walk through local history. The State Museum helps us understand life from century to century. The scenery changed like the seasons." Charley said, "Open your eyes, your ears, your heart. To feel the South deep in your soul, just let yourself become a part." The boys trembled under the belly of an extinct 40-foot shark. They dug for bones of dinosaurs and hunted mastodons in the dark. Once hunters, now hikers, they trailed on and kayaked the Saluda, Broad, and Congaree. Soon Bernard found Columbia a most rare place that not only had just one river, but three. On the Saluda, they stopped by a park that's over 300 acres grand. The explorers splashed, picnicked, and played, then learned about plant life firsthand. Charley led his friend to the boardwalk at Congaree National Park. Look out for creatures that slither and crawl, and skyscrapers made of bark. Blue skies turned pink, warm air to cool. So many changes since that day's start, and Bernard, too, felt something change in his soul. Of his new home, he felt a part. Charley said, "Tonight, let's hook a worm at the end of a long cane pole. We can sit on the edge of Lake Murray dock and pull up brim from my best friend's fishing pole. And when our long day is done, let's watch the sun slip behind the trees. We can go to sleep to the chirps and the weirs and the gentle nighttime breeze." Later that night, as Bernard went to bed, he cracked his window to hear the sounds. He couldn't believe his adventures in Columbia. What a wonderland he found. From his pocket, he pulled out a checklist to glance over it just once more. How his day and mind had changed once he met Charley, the junior ambassador. But it wasn't only the places he saw or the weather that warmed his skin. It was the outstretched hand of a neighbor that warmed him deep within. Bernard decided that Columbia was just the perfect fit. It cared for others, spreads as far and wide as the rivers that run through it. He knew he had been changed forever, for the capital city is most extraordinary. His heart longed for morning. He desired to explore a place he once thought was just ordinary. The end. So when this staycation or stay at home is over, you can be a junior ambassador for Columbia. Just remember all the wonderful things that is in your Columbia backyard. I hope you've enjoyed this first book of the Together We Can Read series, and I look forward to joining you again and bringing you yet another selection from the City of Columbia that we have shared with the students across Richland 1 to open your eyes, open your ears, and open your heart to the love of reading.